So also one thing as well, especially as students as well, is that sometimes we may hear a story like this and think, okay, I need to take this exact path that this person has taken. That what works for someone may not necessarily work for you, but it's all about that self-awareness. If you're aware of the different paths that different people have to take, it can give you an idea on maybe the things that you have to do as well.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well, hope you're looking after yourselves. Welcome to another episode of The Student Guide, where we discuss important topics relevant to you, our wonderful audience, whether it's to do with personal and professional development, whether it's to do with raising awareness on diversity, equity and inclusion, whether it is just learning more about organisations that can support you in your creative endeavours. We like to bring these people and these organisations to light and let you know a bit more about them. We've got another great guest speaker today. Funnily enough, a namesake. It is rare for me to find another Jeffrey, but I found another Jeffrey. We're going to hear more from Jeffrey today, so this is going to be fun. But yeah, as you know, I don't like doing introductions, so instead I'm going to hand over to Jeffrey to introduce himself. Jeffrey, thank you for coming on to the show. Could we know a bit more about you and what you do?
Thank you, Jeffrey. Feels a bit awkward, isn't it? Yeah, so my name is Jeffrey. I'm a career coach, I'm a keynote speaker and also a facilitator as well. So I go to schools and universities to help students find directions in the careers that they want to go into as well. So all about helping them on their career path as well. And I teach them professional skills. So these could be areas such as LinkedIn, it could be networking, it could be professional emailing, professional etiquette, anything to sort of help them gain those extra skills to help them become more career ready. That's literally what I'm about.
Oh, perfect, man. Thank you. And yeah, I think especially like our audience are predominantly students, so this will be a good episode for them. And particularly at the time of recording, it's coming up to graduation. A lot of students will be thinking about next steps. Don't worry, you might be thinking, how can I get in touch with Jeffrey? How can I get all the details? We will be sharing that at the very end, so don't worry, you will be able to connect with Jeffrey directly. But yeah, we're going to dive into the first question, which is all about your journey. And I think it'll be really interesting for us to know about your journey. What could you tell us essentially about your journey to becoming a student career coach, and particularly what's inspired you to start greatness coaching?
Wow. So my journey is quite a long one as well. So I guess I'll take it back to how my life was as a student as well, because if students are watching this, I don't want them to be seeing who I am today and thinking, right, I can't relate. I think it's important to sort of tell them about what I've been doing before as well. So I guess I would say growing up in secondary school, I unfortunately was the victim in school. I got heavily bullied as well. So as you can imagine, school wasn't really a great experience for me as well. So instead of me coming in to learn, it was more about, coming in to survive as well. So, that was quite difficult. And also it put me at a point where I almost was like questioning myself whether, just a little trigger warning, I was questioning whether I really wanted to be here as well. So that was quite, traumatic at the time as well. But eventually got over that as well. Well, as soon as I finished secondary school, that was it. My secondary school had a sixth form. They're asking, does anyone want to stay? Me, I'm like, nah, I'm done. 5 years, I'm gone. So done with secondary school, went sixth form as well. I was there for about 3 years and then went to university as well, studied business management. Did that for 4 years, which included a placement year as well, got a 2-1 as well. And then afterwards, I literally just started to, be on a journey of figuring myself out as well. Because, sometimes as students, we do a particular course at university and thinking, okay, if we do this particular degree, the career path that has been explained to us from that degree, we think we're going to pursue it as well. But then it's something different from actually thinking about doing something then actually doing it as well. It's a whole different ball game as well. And sometimes you don't really know if you really should be doing something unless you actually do it as well. So as part of my transition, I started working in finance roles as well, processing invoices, making payments, looking at credit cards as well. And I just felt like, maths was my favorite subject as well. Like working on numbers, I thought that's something that I really want to do as well. But then it just got to a point where I was just getting, bored and fed up as well. And I remember before, even when I started working as well, to be a whole university graduate, but starting with a £19,000 like salary. Like it was painful as well. Like and then processing invoices where photographers were invoicing £50,000 for 3 days of work. I was like, what? My life is rubbish, bruv. I need to go. Like I was like, nah, bruv, this is some joke thing, bruv. So I was like, you know what? Let me just find a way to just move forward as well. So of course, 2020, you know, lockdown, you know, that was like the first time I had so much thinking in my mind. Like, you know, normally like you're just busy as well. You wake up, work, have dinner, sleep. Like lockdown just gave me so much time in my hands. I was like, hey, like I've got so much time to think. But I said to myself that, you know what, this lockdown is not going to be forever. So let me use this time to try and work on my career as well. And then that's when I realized that, you know what, like I don't really like this kind of finance stuff as well. Like I know some people who do finance, they enjoy it. But for me, it's not working as well. So that's when I sort of stopped, and then I went into the the creative side as well, working in advertising as well, doing social media advertising roles as well, and also a role called paid search, which involves promoting ads on Google search as well. So I thought, okay, that seems cool as well. But then in the midst of doing that as well, I just started to like experience an encounter as well. So obviously, I don't know if this is a faith podcast, but I'm a person of faith as well. So, God has really like put it in my heart to like pour into people as well. So you can imagine like during the lockdown, like I was the one speaking life into people as well, making a difference into others as well. And I just started to become so passionate about people. I just started to just have that fire just to help people as well. And I used to get so much fulfillment helping people, and I still do to this day. And I said that, you know what, I actually want to do something that allows me to just live out my purpose, like live out something that I love. And then that's how I stumbled across coaching. So I went to do a coaching qualification as well. So that was about in 2022. Did that for about 4 months, then become a qualified coach as well. And then afterwards just started to offer my services out to my LinkedIn contacts as well, and also my phone book as well, helping different people, find ways to transition into new careers or how to grow within their careers as well. I was also helping business owners with content creation ideas as well. So obviously, today we've got ChatGPT, so everyone's using ChatGPT to be asking all these questions. But before, my mind was just going like, wow, I was giving idea after idea. And I said that, you know what, like, let me start organization, like, I actually want to start a business, like, and yeah, literally started greatness coaching as well. And then one of the ways that allows me to sort of gain traction and gain interest from different people is that I utilize LinkedIn as well. So that's something that I know students, you'll be watching. LinkedIn is definitely one of the biggest platforms that you have to be on as well. I know you might have your TikTok, Instagram as well. I mean, I recently joined TikTok as well. I'll be making 1-2 videos as well, seems to be doing well. But LinkedIn is literally what you need as well, because with LinkedIn, I literally was posting content and creating content as well. And that's a key thing about LinkedIn, because, sometimes when you think about LinkedIn, people just see the platform as, LinkedIn is all about jobs, you have to wear your suit and tie. But literally, some people treat LinkedIn like it's an Instagram. Some people talk about politics, some people talk about their kids, some people talk about racism, some people talk about football, they talk about anything as well. But for me, I was focusing on like careers, I was focusing on networking and LinkedIn as well. And then from there, I started to attract opportunities. I started to get different people reaching out to me as well. And I also was able to, find opportunities where I can partner with different organizations to go into schools as well. And so that was kind of like my way in as well. I was like, you know what, schools is something that, God's put in my heart that I need to do. So how can I find a way to get in as well? So that's when I found vacancies from roles to work with schools as well. So that's how I got in as well. Also went back to Mile Sixth Form to do a talk as well. And then from there, I started to go do different networking events, just sell myself as well, talking about who I am, what I do, getting LinkedIn contacts as well, and just being in a position where I'm just having several meetings every week. Like, I think in a week, one time I have had about 20 meetings, like, back to back, just speaking, introducing myself as well. And sometimes it just got to a point where I was like, wow, like, this is a lot, like the fact that I'm just trying to like speak to so many different people. But at the end of the day, I said that, you know what, there's a goal that I want to achieve. I want to be able to make a difference in other people's lives. So I understand that not everything's going to be nice and varied. Sometimes it's going to be a difficult process as well. But let me use something that's actually a strength of mine, which is like being a people's person, connecting with people. So I said that, you know what, let me keep speaking to people, because eventually, as I begin to gain clarity on what I actually want to do, eventually I'm going to be able to sort of like gain direction as well. So upon starting, I didn't 100% know what I was doing, but I said that, you know what, let me be obedient, like God's put in my heart, let me start. And then over time, that's when I realized that, hold on, I actually am called to young people as well. So that's something that I discovered as well. Then I discovered that with young people, what I'm going to do is, you know, empower them as well by talking about careers as well, helping them work out what they actually want to do as well. Because, you know, a lot of young people have dreams as well, but it's almost like they don't really know how to sort of make that happen as well. So I sort of will go into schools, do coaching sessions as well, speak to the students as well. And yeah, that's literally how I just stumbled across, you know, finding that direction that, you know what, 6-1 students, universities, and also organizations as well, whether it's like apprenticeships or graduates, really speaking to them as well, and just, you know, really just teaching them, and just, you know, teaching them the skills of LinkedIn, teaching the skills of networking, and really just like empowering them and just getting them to believe in themselves as well. Because if they could change the way that they view themselves and change the way that they view the world that they live in as well, eventually things will change as well. Because sometimes someone can take a job from you, you may lose some money, but then if you have that relentless mindset where you're going to do whatever it takes to get to where you need to be, then nothing's going to stop you as well. And that's just even something that I even tell a lot of students as well. Any student watching this as well, like, you know, never ever like let someone take away your confidence or take away your power as well. If someone takes away the power to control how your life is going to be, it's going to go in a different direction as well. Always keep believing in yourself, and even if things are hard, just know that eventually the breakthrough that you're looking for is going to come as well.
No, thank you very much. Yeah. And yeah, I think some of the key things to like highlight from that is, I think one, as you mentioned, you know, we always talk about placements on the podcast. We actually got an episode on placements. Definitely check it out. But we do highlight the importance of doing placements, because it can both help you find a career that you're very interested in doing, but it can also help you learn a career that you're not interested in doing. But I think as well, like some of the stuff you were mentioning on, you know, encouraging people to like follow their dreams, being able to like test things, doing things that you actually enjoy. I think that's something that for a lot of people, they don't think is possible, or they don't think, you know, they can do. But I think, as you mentioned, like both with your story, both with sort of the work that you're doing, it's very clear that, you know, that is the case. We always tell people that, you know, through the podcast, you can sort of like follow your passion, follow your dreams. You can try new things, try new careers. And we definitely sort of like highlight as well that, you know, there is no sort of like one strict path that you have to go to. So if you studied maths, you don't necessarily have to go straight into being a mathematician or an accountant. It's all about like thinking about, so I guess for me, and particularly with my family, like the big thing that they said when picking my degree, and also like what I wanted to do eventually when I did my master's, was like, essentially, what do you want to, there should be a link between what you're interested in, what you believe that you're called to do and you're going to work on, and then like bringing all of that into like sort of like one synergy, that you're sort of like finding an area that you're like very passionate about, but you're also interested in learning more about. So thank you very much for that.
That's all right.
We're going to go to the next question, which is about challenges. So we're going to start this with Mic Check, which if you don't know, Mic Check is an interesting fact or figure or story relevant to the conversation that we're having. So the interesting fact is, according to the UK Office of National Statistics, graduates in the UK have an employment rate of 86.7%, which is significantly higher than the employment rate for non-graduates. However, just to clarify with this, while the employment rate for being a graduate is higher than being a non-graduate, so if you're a non-graduate, the employment rate is 70.4%. However, it is key to note that that doesn't necessarily mean that navigating through the job market or finding the right career for you is any easier, just because the percentages are in your favor for being a graduate. So linking with that, what are some of the challenges that students face when trying to gain clarity on their career paths, and how do you help them to overcome these obstacles?
Yes, I guess one of the challenges that they may have is that there's just too many options. Like, you know, sometimes when there's like one or two choices that you have to make, it could be easier. But then when you look at the internet, so many job opportunities, you see so many different things. Like, students are exposed to so many different job roles out there. Sometimes it could be a bit confusing as well. So I guess the main thing that you have to think about as well, especially if you're a student, is, what's the one thing that you actually love? Like, what's the one thing that you actually love doing as well? Like, do you love coding? Do you love designing? Do you love making videos? Do you do something like myself where you love speaking as well? Identify that first, and then also do research to see if there's anyone out there who does something that you desire to do as well, and then reach out to them and ask them questions about how they got into that career as well. So when navigating the job search as well, from trying to make the transition from the financial sector to advertising, and then from advertising to higher education, I literally reached out to different people on LinkedIn as well. So I looked at job titles that I had an interest in being in, and then I typed in those job titles, filtered it to people on LinkedIn, found some people, connected with them, and then asked them a question as well about, okay, what's it like working in this role, but also what are the challenges as well? Because, sometimes we look at job roles, every job role's got to advertise their role as the best thing ever as well. But you also have to know that with every job, if everything that you do is going to come with challenges, but the benefits of a role needs to be able to be much better than the challenges as well. So when you reach out to them, you can say, hey, if the person's name's John, hey John, hope you're doing well. It's great to connect with you on LinkedIn as well. My name's Jeffrey. I'm looking to become a videographer in the media production industry as well. Would it be possible to get 30 minutes of your time to find out more information about the work that you do, and, any tips on how I can, break into this industry as well? And then sometimes what happens is that some people, you may not necessarily get a call with them, but they actually will send you like lengthy paragraphs as well, information, resources, websites, things to check out, maybe some courses as well. Some people will give you about 30 minutes of their time as well. They might give you the email address as well. And that's also something to be mindful of as well. Like, if you're trying to book meetings with someone, don't ask them to set the meeting up because you need them. They don't really need you as well. You have to be proactive and ask for the email addresses, set up in a, you can even use something like Google Meet to save money. Put in Google Meet, create the link, send it to them for the agreed time and date, have a chat with them as well, and then also think about questions to ask them as well. So look at their LinkedIn profile, look at the different things that they've been doing over the years, and if there's someone where they post a lot of stuff on LinkedIn, look at what they're posting as well, and then ask them questions about, okay, how did you go about studying, say, like, for example, history? How did you go from studying history at university to now being a videographer? Like, what decisions did you have to make as well? What path did you had to take in order to be in this position as well? Did you have any support, any mentorships as well? And then what they'll do is that they'll share their story. They'll talk about, what they do as well, how they got there as well, and any different advice as well. So also one thing as well, especially as students as well, is that sometimes we may hear a story like this and think, okay, I need to take this exact path that this person has taken. That what works for someone may not necessarily work for you, but it's all about that self-awareness. If you're aware of the different paths that different people have to take, it can give you an idea on maybe the things that you have to do as well. So maybe you have to take on extra courses. Maybe you have to go to more events to meet different people as well. Maybe you have to try and, create some sort of portfolio as well, which means like, having to start doing a lot of free work. And I know sometimes as students, we don't want to do stuff for free because it's kind of like, I deserve to get paid, which of course, you do deserve to get paid because let's be honest, like, I guess they call it the cost of living crisis as well. Everyone needs money as well. But sometimes, if you're trying to, break into an industry that you never worked in, if you're trying to become someone that you've never been, if you're trying to get to a place where everything is new, you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to get to where you need to be as well. Because every great person that you admire on the internet, they had to start off doing things for free. When I started my journey, I had to do things for free, and there was some points where I just hated it. I was like, nah, man, I deserve to get paid. But I said that, you know what, let me build my portfolio, let me build my confidence as well, because sometimes when you're testing something, you don't really know if you're actually good at it, or you don't really know if this is something that you should do as well. So when you're testing something for free, that's a good thing as well, because during those testing times, that's when you learn information as well. I'm sure for yourself, podcasts as well. I'm sure at some point you didn't really know if podcast was for you as well until you started to test it, fine tune it as well, and then boom, now podcast is your thing as well. So as long as you put yourself in a position where you test, you practice, that's when you actually will figure out whether something is for you as well. Because if you keep just thinking about it in your mind, you're not going to get an answer sometimes you can think about it for as long as you like, but until you actually take action, be practical, then you won't know. So that's a way that I'll say that you can overcome challenges.
Oh, perfect. Thank you very much.
Awesome,
and yeah, that kind of links to our next question, because you spoke about the pandemic. Obviously, the pandemic had like a huge impact on a wide range of different fields. Particularly, education was one of the ones that was very affected, because you had students, even to this day, that their whole sixth form experience or their whole university experience was basically online or hybrid towards the end. But yeah, we'd like to discuss, particularly because as a podcast network, we started out during the pandemic in 2021, and we were highlighting resources that could help students with their personal and professional development. So we would like to know, how has the pandemic impacted students' career paths and their career planning and development? But then also, what strategies do you suggest for students to take when it comes to navigating these changes?
I guess how it's impacted them in the pandemic is like they've had a totally different experience than everyone else as well. So I was fortunate to have face-to-face sessions, face-to-face lectures at university and almost get that same experience. But then with students, having to do lessons on Zoom, having to do lessons on Teams, when you have to pay like on average $9,000 for university, it's gonna feel like a waste of time, or it's gonna feel like a bump as well. So yes, that kind of thing will kind of make some students feel like, maybe being in education is a waste of time as well. But I believe that no matter what you study as well, there's always something that you can gain from it as well. Even if it might not be your degree, there could be some opportunities at universities as well, whether through different societies, different events, different departments as well. So one thing I would say is, be on LinkedIn while, as a student as well, do research as well, and, look at different things out there that you can possibly do from your degree as well. And then also think about the things that you're also good at as well, and something that you see yourself doing for your career as well. So the more you can start doing research on LinkedIn, looking at what's out there as well. Also start looking at events as well that you can attend, whether it is online or in person. 100%. And then attending these events, looking at the guest speakers as well. And not just any kind of event where you see investors, entrepreneurs, professionals. You want to have a focused event that's focused in the industry that you want to go into as well. So if you're interested in tech, you want to be able to find a tech event to go into as well. So if you're someone in London, there's loads of tech events as well. You go to that specific event, speak with the event organizers, speak with some of the speakers as well, and then just ask them questions as well. Just tell them what you do as well, and also just ask if there's an opportunity to have a chat with them to see how you can, get advice from their journey as well. And sometimes if you really play your cards right, you can literally get mentorship as well. But the only way someone could be, the only way someone can agree for that mentorship to happen is that they need to see some sort of desire from you. If they see that you have a good attitude, you have a passion to learn as well, you're teachable, you're trainable as well, someone can literally do that and be like, you know what, I'm gonna take 30 minutes of my time, even if it's like once every month, to help you as well. So that's something that I'll encourage students as well. Definitely, just be proactive as well. Do research, ask loads of questions, be curious as well. The more curious that you are, the more it's gonna help you as well. If you see some information that you're not sure of as well, find someone that works in that industry or that particular job role, and then ask them, okay, I found this article, it says such and such and such. Is this true? What's your thoughts as well? I think the more that you can reach out to get those answers, like the more it's going to help you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think to touch on a few things that you mentioned there, so we have, so we'll go into it a bit later, you'll find out who the MC of the month is for this episode. But yeah, we have previously said our MCs of the month have been LinkedIn, because we said, especially as a young person, whether you're at university or not, LinkedIn is a powerful tool to not only connect with people, as you said, find career advancement, but also to sort of mentorship, internship opportunities, apprentice opportunities, there's loads of opportunities you can find on LinkedIn. But we've also mentioned, to relate it to both to Brunel, but also to any university. Universities do have their own educational professional development centers. So like Brunel is called the PDC, so the Brunel Professional Development Center. They offer a lot of schemes and programs to support students. So they have a placement team, they have a graduate team that supports graduates for up to 3 years. A lot of students don't remember that, but yes, if you're coming up to graduation or you just graduated, you do get that support for your CV, cover letters, interviews 3 years after you graduated. Most universities have the 3-year thing in place and have a team that specialises with that. Again, I only know about Brunel because that's the place that I went to, but Brunel's team is really good at sort of offering that advice and support. So yeah, I definitely recommend that. And also, as you mentioned, with like speaking to people in industry. So for example, to relate it back to Pick Up the Mic and the business, we have one of our interns, Ramazan, we met at so we did a 3-year celebration in April where, we partnered with they're called the Brunel Summer Internship Program. They offer like internships for first year students within organizations. It's like a paid internship thing. Ramazan attended the event. He wanted to know a bit more about Pick Up the Mic. He's interested in podcasting and wanted to sort of like speak to me to find out a bit more about that. He did, and lo and behold, based off that conversation, and obviously, like for the interview, like he was interviewed. It wasn't like, I will clarify, it was not nepotism that like just because of that he immediately got the job. But yeah, he just like, it was. I think the key thing to sort of like highlight was, as you mentioned, because he reached out, he spoke, he came to that event and spoke. He shared his passion and enthusiasm for wanting to learn about podcasting in the podcasting world. That was something that as a employer, I guess. I was just like, this is really interesting to see. You didn't have to necessarily do that. And it's the same with our other intern that we've got called Josh, who he at the moment is like, he wants to learn about the space of videography. He wants to gain that support and that knowledge within sort of like building up his professional and personal portfolio. So he's actively like looking to learn about how he can gain that craft. So I guess to sort of like summarize this question and like my point, get involved with, like, as a student, you should definitely get involved with the schemes that your university runs. Definitely if you're a first year student, so you're listening in and you're about to sort of become a first year student at university, do please listen out, check out what your universities that you're either applying for. Obviously, at the time of the recording in July, so results aren't out yet. But yeah, do keep an eye out of the universities that you're applying for. What do their universities offer that can help you with your personal and professional development? Because, like, for example, the Brunel one, as I mentioned, because it gives you that like natural path of, you've got the BSIP program that offers support if you're a first year student. You've got the placement scheme that supports you if you want to do summer internships, summer placements or year placements. And then you've got that graduate support afterwards. It's almost like you've got that follow through route that you can take as a student. So by the time of graduation, you've already maybe got, like, if you've done the BSIP program and the summer internship program and maybe done a year internship, you've got at least 3 organizations you worked in, which are varying sizes, that you can sort of showcase a wide breadth of knowledge. So when you've graduated, you've actually got like 3, it might not be that 3 years, but you've got like 3 different organizations you've worked in, whereas some people may have only worked in one organization, some people may have never worked in an organization, but coming out with that experience is really good for your personal and professional development. So yeah, I definitely recommend to check out all of those.
And it's quite amazing with the 2 interns that you mentioned as well. The fact that they were proactive, they were asking questions, they're passionate, they have some sort of desire. You was able to feed off that and give them opportunity as well. And that's also my message for students as well. Don't just come and then be like, oh, can I get a job? Can you hire me? Like, come with some sort of like interest, like come with like a willingness to learn as well, because that's what someone can use and give you everything you need. Are you really willing to learn? Are you teachable? Are you coachable? Are you trainable as well? Are you willing to listen as well? Are you willing to take instructions? Are you willing to learn the game? Are you looking to learn the environment that you want to go into, the industry that you want to go into? Are you going to study the kings and queens in your industry as well, who have been running it for decades, and they're on top of the game as well? Are you willing to soak in all of that information just to help you to grow as well? Because once you have that, trust me, the right person will come and help you as well. Because there's no way you'll be so passionate, so ambitious, you go to so many different places and no one's gonna feel it. Someone will feel it, and then someone will give you that opportunity. I promise you.
Mental health is really important to us at Pick Up the Mic, and we love to share resources that can support your mental health. And that's why we are so glad to have today's sponsor. Thank you to BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. BetterHelp is the world's largest therapy service, and it's 100% online. With BetterHelp, you can tap into a network of over 30,000 licensed and experienced therapists who can help you with a wide range of issues. To get you started, you just answer a few questions about your needs and preferences in therapy. That way, BetterHelp can match you with the right therapist from their network. Then you can talk to your therapist however you feel comfortable, whether it's via text, chat, phone, or video call. You can message your therapist at any time and schedule live appointments when it's convenient for you. If your therapist isn't right for any reason, you can switch to a new therapist at no additional charge. With BetterHelp, you get the same professionalism and quality you expect from in-office therapy, but with a therapist who is custom-picked for you, more scheduling flexibility, and at an affordable price. Get 10% off your first month at betterhelp.com/pickupthemic. I've also linked them down below in the description. So again, that's betterhelp.com/pickupthemic, MIC, and start your journey today. So yeah, we come to the second last question. And I think this is a really important one because it's all about success stories. And for people who've been watching the podcast for some time, they may know that we talk about the idea of like success from failure and sharing our advice on that. So it'd be really interesting to know, could you share some success stories of students who have transformed their career outlooks through your coaching sessions?
Oh yeah, so I do have an example of some sessions I was doing before with a university student where they were looking to start a beauty brand as well, so like doing makeup as well. So of course I don't do makeup, I don't wear makeup as well, but I do understand the creative side of what you have to visually do as well. So what I was doing is I'll just give them like, different content ideas as well, different things that they should think about as well. So, making sure that, not only do you have pictures of like the after look of how the makeup looks on your client, but also just taking them through a process as well. Because if you're able to take them up through a process of the before and after as well, that also plays a part in, someone really seeing how you work as well. And then from there, they're eventually going to be able to, be interested in what you do as well. Because a lot of surface-based businesses, what you have to do is that you have to, be able to sort of showcase some of the things that you do online as well. 100%. So the more that you can put videos out there, the more you can put content, is more evidence of the work that you do as well. So I was recommending like Instagram, I was recommending TikTok as well to sort of be on as well. And then as I was giving ideas on content that she should create as well, also showed her different names of people who are, dominating this industry. Like, they're one of the highest paid, they got so much traction. I told them, just follow them as well and just study them. Look at the content that they post as well. Look at how they interact with their audience. Look at the things that they do as well. Because, sometimes with marketing as well, like, if you actually take time to analyze someone's page, you can learn a lot for free.
Yeah.
But the thing is that because some people don't want to put in that time, you end up having to pay someone thousands of pounds just to do the same job as well. But if you actually critically analyze someone's page, looking at the videos they post, the pictures, some of the captions that they post, their hashtags, the way that they're interacting as well, the way that they position the camera, the way that they do things as well, the way that they're visually using their brand, you can literally like learn a lot as well. So that's some of the things that I was doing. And then eventually they were able to sort of like, gain some interest with clients as well, and get their things up and running as well. So that's an example of my coaching sessions as well. So something that I also like to do is that before we even get deeper into that, okay, what's your career goals and all that, I like to understand the person first, because if the person doesn't have the right mind frame, then there's no point talking about goals, because you might start something, challenge will come, boom, that's it, you're done as well. So it's good to understand your values, your interests as well, and also like your why as well. Like, sometimes like, we're in a world where everyone wants to start a business. Like, I want to do business, I want to do this, I want to do that. But what's the actual reason, and what is the goal that you want to achieve as well? And then with that, I'm able to sort of tie that in with the career goals that they want to do as well. And then, really make sure that they utilize platforms as well. So, one thing that people will learn about me is that I'm a big advocate for LinkedIn. Like, sometimes I even promote LinkedIn more than my own stuff as well. But LinkedIn literally is a platform that can like impact your career so much as well. So 100%. I believe that, if you take LinkedIn seriously as well, to put yourself out there as well, just create content. And even a student watching this will thinking, what should I create? You can literally just take a picture of, picture on your wall and just talk about how this picture has inspired you to become a better person. It can literally be anything. You don't even have to be super creative as well. And literally like, connect with different people on LinkedIn as well. Look at what they're posting as well, and just leaving a comment as well. So if someone has made a status about, the comment affairs as well, instead of saying something generic like, I agree, and then you might get a little share your opinion. When you share your opinion, other people are going to see that, and other people are going to connect with you as well, because it's all about how do you provide value to someone else. When someone sees that you're very valuable, that can allow you to sort of get opportunities as well. So that's something that, I like to sort of do in my coaching sessions as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. And I think, there's key lessons to talk about it, because I think one, as you mentioned, people do forget that like sharing content of what you are doing, like it doesn't. I think sometimes people feel like on LinkedIn you got to be like, you're getting a knighthood from the king, or you got to like have, come up with a massive piece of research. But no, LinkedIn is, as you mentioned, just sharing like simple things. Like you could even like the amount of times I've seen coffee cups, people just saying like, I'm working at a cafe today, getting in the zone, thinking about stuff, simple stuff like that. People feel like, they can't do that because whether they don't have a big enough audience, they think people judge them and things like that. But it's like we said, it's just getting out there. I do think as well, people sometimes do forget that like, LinkedIn is not just I've forgotten what the word is, but it's the opposite of reactive. But LinkedIn isn't essentially just you posting stuff and never like reposting with your thoughts, sharing, commenting. Like LinkedIn is a platform that reacts to the reactions that your post gets. And even like you were talking about like commenting, one of the things that I've forgotten like the video that was in, but the person who's like the head of Instagram was talking about like engagement and how Instagram as an algorithm values engagement. And he was basically saying that people sometimes feel like it's the views or the likes that like mean that your video like reaches more people or will go viral. But he said it's absolutely not that. The thing that actually to Instagram tells it that your video is doing well is the comments. And I've seen that. And people say like it's just the comments of your video that will help it to, because when Instagram's seeing your videos getting comments and you're replying to these comments, to Instagram it's saying, oh, okay, cool. People are talking about this. People are getting engaged with it. Let's reach more people. And it's the same thing even with like YouTube. So like through we have an affiliate with them, which we'll put in the description so you can check them out. But through vidIQ, which is a YouTube channel that supports like small YouTubers who want to get into like building up their channel and eventually getting revenue through it. They were talking about how similarly with small channels, people sort of feel that, I need to jump on trends or I need to do this. And they were just like, no, like you just need to be consistent, have good content that you're posting and just be clear on what you're doing, but also be interactive with your audience. If someone comments something, send a reply, put something in your description that maybe will get people to sort of give you feedback. Be active in that sense. So yeah, I definitely agree that like sometimes people do forget that like it's not, you don't need to sort of do so many things to get that engagement from people. And I would say from like personal experience across like Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, the one that you get the most like, I'd say like friendliest feedback and is the safest place is LinkedIn. Like you posted stuff about whether, it's your own journey, stuff you're going through, maybe you've had a tough time, but you're working through it. Like LinkedIn, I've seen people post, they were, thinking of quitting their business and they're, people were commenting like, no, you're doing great stuff. People shared on there, they're like, hey, like, I desperately need a job opportunity. I've been applying for jobs. Like, if you know of any recruiters, like, please reshare. Like, I'm trying to, and like, it works because it's a community of people that are just like, yes, I'm going to help. Like, let me see if I can help this person. And as you said, finally, to just end on this, is that with LinkedIn, a lot of people do forget that, as you mentioned, you can like just message people who maybe they're in a company that you want to work for, or maybe, they're in a field that you want to work in. And you can, like you said, just be like, hey, I hope you're doing well. I really like the stuff that you're posting. I just want to speak to you for like 20, 30 minutes to just know a bit more about you, how you got into this field. I've just got a few questions. And a lot of people think, I'm never going to get a response. I'm not saying that everyone's going to respond, but I'm also not saying that no one's going to respond. And you'll never know if someone's going to respond unless you send out those messages. So yeah.
100%. And also, even if someone doesn't respond, still move on as well.
Exactly.
Because you have to sort of think about the goal that you want to achieve and just have this mind frame that, you know what, like, if you're not going to help me, I'm going to go to someone else, and that's okay as well. Because sometimes I reach out to some people, don't respond, follow up, don't respond. I see them on the comments as well. They see them making posts as well. I'll be on the comments as well. They told me thank you. It's nice to get a thank you, but what about the DM? But I said that, you know what, it's okay. I'm not going to let someone stop me from achieving a goal because you didn't respond to me as well. Yes, I know you can help me, but at this point, you're not responding to me, so I'm going to find someone else as well. So even as students as well, whatever you're trying to achieve, still be proactive as well. Yes, one person can particularly open the door, but if they're not responding to you or you're not able to communicate with them, find someone else as well. You just keep having this mindset where it's like, you know what, I'm going to keep going and keep going and keep going. I'm going to do whatever it takes as well to get 100%. The answers that I'm looking for. That's going to give me the opportunity as well. And even just as you said as well, some people that are looking for a job, they literally create a status saying, hey, I'm looking for a job in this particular area, could you help me out? And then people literally be tagging recruiters, different people that they know as well. And then eventually they get an opportunity as well. So if LinkedIn is helping so many people with their careers, then why shouldn't you use it as well?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Which, funnily enough, leads us to our last question, which is, what advice would you give to students who are feeling lost or uncertain about their future career paths?
I'll say the anyone that is feeling lost is, first one is don't give up as well. And, be in a position where you can just try and experiment, different stuff as well. So even prior to what I do now, I experimented. I thought I wanted to do videography as well. So I was playing with the cameras as well, trying to film my university sports team as well. And I thought that's something that I wanted to do as well. Didn't work out as well. I tried street dancing in uni as well. Not many people know that. It didn't work out as well. And eventually, fast forward to today, I eventually used my passion that I have to pour into people, and that eventually helped me to where I am as well. So I'll say, don't give up, and also, think about things that you're naturally good at, or things that friends or family will tell you that you're good at, and just start trying. Start trying stuff, start doing stuff, start researching stuff as well, because the more that you try something, the more that you will have an understanding of whether something is for you as well. Because even as I said previously as well, if you keep thinking about that thing that you want to do, you can think about it all day, but then you still want to get that clarity. But the clarity comes in doing. And that's something I want students to understand. The clarity that you're looking for is in the doing. When you do stuff, you have that clarity as to whether you should do it, you should continue, or you should focus on something else as well. When I did the finance, I thought I wanted it, that was for me. Then I had a clarity that no, this is not it. With the creative side as well, advertising, I thought this is the clarity of what I wanted to do. Then I realized no, this is not it. And then now I'm in a place where I'm walking in purpose, and it all started from a desire just to help people as well. So no matter where you are right now, everyone has a desire. Everyone has interest in something as well. Try and think about what is that thing that you're passionate about? What's that thing that you're interested about? Or even what's that thing where you might be frustrated about and you wish you could make a change as well? Because that's the key as to what you want to do as well.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm gonna leave it there, man. Amazing advice to take home. But yeah, we've now come to passing the mic, which is where, as I always say, I'm not physically passing the mic over to Jeffrey. But yeah, it's funny because now Jeffrey's interviewing Jeffrey. But yeah, I'm going to let Jeffrey ask me some questions, or a question on sort of like anything we've discussed today or anything you want to know about. Pick up the mic. Just let me know.
Oh yeah, 100%. I guess like with you doing what you're doing as well, why did you feel like students is what you wanted to help? Because you could have just helped adults, you could have helped seniors, but students, young people is where you felt like you were called to sort of help as well. So what made you choose that area and not be tempted to do like other target audiences?
So I think with that, it came from, so Pick Up the Mic started out with myself and two of my friends. I was going to be the BME officer at our student union in 2020. So it was coming up to like the election time. And again, it was during the pandemic, everything was online. Like you had to campaign online. You couldn't go out and speak to people. So I was just messaging group chats, messaging people on Instagram, just saying, hey, I'm going for this position. Let me know if I'd love if you could help vote for me and for your support. But one of the key things I realized was one of this like stuff in my manifesto, people didn't necessarily know that like my university offered. So like, for example, Brunel has a yearly funding competition where there's a pot of between like £10,000 to £15,000 that any student who has a business idea can go for. They get support with coming up with a business model. They get support with their pitching. And all you have to do for the first stage is submit a 2-minute video application on your like business. And it doesn't need to be like, Oscar worthy. It could literally just be used talking to a camera for 2 minutes. And yeah, a lot of people just said like they didn't know that was something that existed. They were just like, oh yeah, I've got business ideas. I would have loved to have known about that. And I was just like, yeah, like this was like, I knew about this, like you didn't know about. And so yeah, there was a lot of stuff like that. Or even like, for example, like I mentioned, the PDC at Brunel that offers career advice and stuff. People were saying they didn't know that they could get like advice on their CV and cover letter. Or they thought, oh, I can only get this support when I'm at Brunel. And then I was telling them like, no, like if you're graduating next year or like you're graduating this winter, you get that support 3 years after you graduate. So don't worry. Like if you didn't use the service this year, come back and use it next year. But yeah, people were just like, didn't know a lot about this stuff. So for a lot of us, we just felt like, yeah, there's a lot of students, like this is just our uni. But imagine like across other universities where, particularly like with the way things are now, even though we're still in like a post-pandemic world, the way things were before, you're still getting loads of information from like your universities emailing you loads of stuff, or maybe they're emailing you like a weekly or monthly newsletter where you're not reading it, maybe a glimpse over if there's anything cool or interesting, but you're not necessarily in like digesting what's there. But yeah, there were a lot of like these services that existed that people just didn't know about. So we said that we wanted to create a platform that people could come, they could learn about that. And it just naturally felt that as students who knew about some of this stuff, it would be great to share this for other students. So it's kind of changed because now, funnily enough, we've all graduated. But our tagline when we started on Instagram was it was by students for students, in the sense of we're all students. We are not saying like we're experts in everything or we know all the knowledge in the world, but we were saying we've got advice, we've got an experience, we want to share it with you, and we want to let you know about the support services, both within Brunel, both outside within sort of UK wide, sometimes, worldwide, that you could get involved in. A lot of these are for free. A lot of these, you can utilize for free, even some of them as like a university student. So yeah, we said, come on, listen to us, and yeah, we'll share information and advice with you.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, I absolutely love that as well. Yeah, and I also love the fact that everything literally just started in the pandemic as well, and that probably could have been a point where you was like, you know what, let me just give up, let me just leave it as well. But the fact that you still kept going as well, and even though you had a name by students, for students, something like that, you still kept going as well, and then as you kept going, the name started to refine more as well. Yeah. And
that was the whole idea. So I can never take credit for Pick Up the Mic. It came from one of my sisters. But she was saying like, it's the whole idea of, you're giving students this opportunity to like come on, speak about stuff they're passionate about, but you're also picking up the mic so that they're aware of this stuff, because you're saying like, we're not going to let anyone else like, share this and you're going to miss it. We're going to be vocal. We're going to be that person that's like, hey man, if you need this advice, like check out this place and we're going to point you in the right direction. So yeah, she was saying very much that like, that's the whole idea of like why it is called Pick Up the Mic, is because we're encouraging people to pick up the mics themselves and share their journey. But we're also picking up the mic to say, we're going to like vocalize, we're going to tell, we're going to speak to, we're going to share all these resources with you, so that even if you feel a bit hesitant about using it, maybe you don't know what it's about, we'll talk to you about it. We'll show you that, it's okay to be a bit worried, but, we can share that advice with you.
And that's amazing as well. And that's why, I commend you as well and your team as well for, doing this podcast as well, because, students need a podcast where they can sort of hear about student careers, stories as well, so they can get that hope that, what, even if someone been through a challenge, they were able to make it as well. And it's the hope that allows people to move forward as well.
Yeah.
Because if they can't see someone that looks like them around their age group be successful, then they're going to think that what they're doing is a waste of time as well. So what you're doing is an amazing thing. So keep doing your thing as well. And I know that, you definitely will go places as well.
Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. And to just end this, linking to what you just said there about like encouraging people that, like anyone, like encouraging people, like the power of like following your dreams. And like you said, like, I'm also a Christian, so, following God. So funnily enough, I'm going to repost it. I'm hoping we can beat the original views that it got. But I'm going to, 18th of July will be a year since I did like my graduation speech. So without like going into too much detail of the story, it was just, I guess, like I said, like God's favor that things lined up, that the university allowed students who are currently graduating to speak at their own graduations. And I was able to apply and I got the opportunity to do it. But even as you said, with that speech, I didn't want it to focus on, talking about myself, the journey I had at Brunel and like why I love Brunel so much. And I also didn't want it to be a fact, talking about like the university itself and saying like the university is a great place and all this. I wanted to essentially focus on the people in the room. And as you mentioned, it's on the back of my shirt. We will be talking about Pick Up the Mic merch, so you can pick one up and I will tell you how. But like I have this quote that truly impacted me, which is called Sig Parvis Magna, which in Latin means greatness from small beginnings, but it's like direct translation is like from small beginnings, great things occur. So for me, that whole speech was about that. So it was in reminding people that, I even say in the speech, I joke about it, that, I face failure, stress, worry, like imposter syndrome, all of these things. But that's not to say that, like, I don't think greatness will come from what I do. It might be today, it might be tomorrow, but I think it will come. And the whole speech was just reminding them that, hey, like, we're all in the same base. Great things will come from what you're going to do. Don't worry about the timing. Just keep being consistent. Have that faith. Things like have faith in general that things are going to work. Like the work that you're putting into this is going to bring something to fruition. But also don't be surprised of like when that comes and what form it comes in. Because even like I said, if you told me, like even it was funny because like maybe March that year, I told my old manager that was still at the university, I told her that, hey, I would really love to do like a speech at graduation. And I was just saying like, this is long term. Like, I was just like, Bruno will never let me do it now because I'm not big, I'm not famous, I'm not like an industry leader. But I was just like, it would be so cool to do. And she was like, why don't you just do it at your upcoming one? And I was like, okay, let's check it out. Let's see what happens. So yeah, so like you said, it's just very much about like, sometimes you like one, as you mentioned, being proactive, but two, just creating those spaces and being aware of like the opportunities that are around you. So
yeah, that's amazing as well. And that's it.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
I will say keep an eye out. I will be reposting it. I think on LinkedIn it got like 4K views last time I checked. So we're hoping this year to maybe double that. So
go viral.
Yeah, go viral. let's see it happen, guys. But yeah, we've now come to the end of the month. We haven't had two for a while, but we've got two this episode. So we're going to share an organization or two organizations that I think will be really relevant to you guys, and then we're going to share an individual that can help. So organization-wise, there are two. So the first one is Bright Network. So Bright Network do a lot of work to connect students and recent graduates with top employers. They do a lot of career advice. They also share like internship, graduate schemes and opportunities, as well as like host events, most of them online, some of them in person, on like career advice, CVs and cover letters. So yeah, definitely check them out. Another one, especially for those who are looking to do placements, is Rate My Placement. So Rate My Placement is a website where organizations can upload placements to sort of like talk about, to showcase and offer placements. But what's really good about it as well is I believe it's set. So the whole idea of it being called Rate My Placement is students will rate the organizations on that website. So students can give feedback on how they found the placement, what they enjoyed. It's a whole idea is supposed to be like a safe environment where students can talk about their experience. So they offer placement and internship opportunities. But again, there's that career advice element as well. So I definitely would recommend checking that out. And then finally, I think we we didn't really touch about it a lot, but I think it is very important. Was the whole idea of your why and like why you do what you do. And I think the best person is, he's got like a 10 to 20 minute TED talk on it. But he does a lot of work around this, is Simon Sinek. And he does, so while he's not based within the UK, he does a lot of work on like career clarity, finding your purpose. And he has literally a 10 to 20 minute TED talk on like finding your why. So if you are sort of like unsure of your why, go and find out. And one thing that he shared, he also, if you're into podcasts, he's done a few podcasts with Stephen Bartlett from Diary of a CEO. So if you do want to listen to like some podcast episodes of his, check it out. But yeah, one thing that he does say is like finding your why can also be through your friends and your family. So he said like, when it comes to friends, I've never done this, but it's an interesting thing to test. And if you do it, let us know. He said like for friends and family, ask them, so it's more for friends, because obviously like your family for the most part love you. But yeah, when it comes to friends, he said like find a good friend, like something that you're close friends, you're really good friends. And he said like just turn to them and be like, so we're friends, right? And he said, the way it goes is you ask the person like, we're friends, right? And they'll be like, yes, of course. And he said like, but why are we friends? And he was just like, you're not saying it in like a rude way or like you don't understand why this friendship exists, but you want to know more about like the reason why this person wants to be friends with you. And he said like, be very attentive to what they're saying. If they're saying like, oh, because you're warm, because you're caring, because I can see you've got a passion and a drive and this and that, then that can be a clear like indicator of your why. So it means that like they might be like, oh, I love just how like you're passionate when it comes to like following through on things, on like your hobbies, or I like that you're caring and you always make sure that I feel okay and safe and all of this stuff. And that can be a really good indicator to knowing like what your strengths are, because particularly when it comes to like finding out your why, sometimes it is like the things you are strong at. So like as Jeffrey mentioned, like you're very confident in speaking in public. You're very confident with offering advice. So that's clearly why you do what you do. Yep. And in the same sense as you mentioned, like with podcasting, when we started out podcasting, I did not have the expertise and knowledge. As I say, the three of us when we started did not have any of that experience. So yeah, he was saying it's a really good way for you to like find out your why, but not through like only self. He does talk about like how do you self-search to find your why, but he also talks about like getting that feedback through friends. And he said a really good friend, like let them be brutally honest and keep asking them. If they're just saying like, they're not going to depth with their answer. He said, like, keep on trying to bring that answer out of them, because it is really key to for you to know. But yeah, there are MCs of the month. We have now come to the takeaway section, which is not where we, like I said, I didn't mention in the previous episode, we are at the stage where possibly we could get food sponsorship. It's coming. I'll let you know when it comes. But yes, at this current stage, we're just going to be giving you a message to go home with instead. So, Jeffrey, it's been great talking to you. First, I'm going to say that. We talked about a lot. We talked about a lot of interesting things. We have explored a lot of topics, and we've given a lot of advice. Now, if there was one key takeaway message based on everything we talked about today that you want people to go home with, what would that takeaway message be?
I'll say be proactive. Be dedicated, be focused as well, be driven, and don't allow the negative influences to stop you from going to where you need to be. If you have a passion, you have a desire in your heart, and some people don't believe that, that's okay. You're not crazy for having a dream. You're not crazy for wanting better than those around you as well. Keep going, keep pushing yourself as well, keep reaching out to different people who can help you in various different areas of your life, especially in your career, and then eventually you will get there as well. But every student watching this, please keep going as well. Don't give up. I know sometimes the news will come with different new stuff as well. Social media will come with different stuff. Different people will come with different stories and say, oh, this and that. But you have to be able to just know that there's purpose and there's life in you. Because each and every one of you watching this, you are precious and you're absolutely amazing. And God's got a big plan for each and every one of you. I know it's not Sunday service. I'm a Christian. I can't lie. It's got to come out.
No,
but God has a plan for each and every one of you as well. So I believe in you. Keep going, keep being great as well. Keep trying. And the more you try, the more you learn, the more you network, the more you put yourself out there, the more you do research, the more you ask questions, the more you attend different events as well, the more you connect to different people as well that can help you in your journey. Eventually you will get to where you need to be.
100%. And yeah, I think, one thing to sort of say before we wrap things up is I will say I didn't tell him to say that. He just came up with that on the spot. But honestly, man, like I think it's really important for you that you mentioned that, because in our previous episode we were talking about like the whole idea of youth work and advocacy, and we were saying that for a lot of young people, that they're not told that they're good enough, that they're worth it, that they can follow their dreams, that they can like achieve that stuff, and that's not to say this can happen in households where like it's clear that your parents love you and things like that. Sometimes it is just people can't see what you see, and it's like we said, like you're not doing this for anyone else. You're doing this because, like you said, you're called to do this. You can see yourself doing this, and it's just remembering that. So I guess my only 2 cents to just add on to that was thank you so much. People needed to hear that. I hope you guys heard that. And if you didn't, make sure you're telling yourself that you're loved, you're good enough, and you're going to do great things. So yeah, thank you very much.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, Jeffrey, for having me as well.
Okay, you're very welcome.
Definitely been an amazing episode as well. I felt like I was able to share a lot of things in my heart as well, and you also made me feel comfortable here as well.
You're very welcome,
and every student as well, I hope you took something from it as well. And if you want to connect with me on social media, Jeffrey Manso, Jeffrey, M for March, A for April, N for November, S for September, O for October.
Yeah.
Always got to do spelling bee on the phone sometimes. Because I say my name and it's like,
But no, thank you so much. And yeah, it's been amazing to speak to you. If you, our audience, love this episode, a like, comment, and subscribe is always appreciated. If you want to make sure that you don't miss the next episode of the Student Guide or any of the other content on the Pick Up the Mic channel, please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. And if you're listening on any listening platform, if you want to make sure you don't miss any of the episodes of the Student Guide, please make sure you subscribe on whatever listening platform you are listening on. If you want to receive some merch, because as I mentioned, we've got merch. I'm wearing some now, the Pick Up the Mic network t-shirt, as well as we've got a notepad. We've got specific t-shirts for our anime channel as well. If you want to receive all of that merch, you want to also support the podcast, because we can't do this without our wonderful members of the community that are supporting, then you can either do that through two methods: our YouTube channel membership, which is linked down below, and our Patreon page, which is also linked down below. As mentioned, if you're a Patreon member, you get a paying Patreon member, you get discounts on the merch and the price that you pay for the merch, as well as if you are a Patreon member, you get early access to stuff as well as cheaper tickets to events. But yeah, sorry. You can tell it's been a long day. Lastly, if you want to make sure you don't miss out on some of our other channels, we have 3 other channels on YouTube. So we have the gaming channel, Pick Up the Controller, where we discuss the world of gaming, but we also exclusively look at it through a lens of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So talking with gaming creators, organizations that are working to proactively do that. We do have some surprises coming that way to that channel, so keep an eye out. We also have the Two Maces channel with Joshua and Morgan. They will be discussing some new, well, at this time of recording it's not out yet, so hopefully by the time this episode's out, they're going to be talking about The Boys season 4. They're going to be talking about House of the Dragon and all your sci-fi and fantasy stuff, so make sure you keep an eye on that. And finally, if you're interested in anime, we have the Senseis of Anime YouTube channel. We will be at some anime events and we will be posting about that soon, so keep an eye out. But yes, make sure you subscribe to those 2 channels. You can find them all at our YouTube page. If you scroll down a bit, you'll see like Pick Up the Mic Network, and you'll see all 3 channels there. You can subscribe there and check them out. But yeah, we're going to close this chapter of the Student Guide. We will be back with another episode and another guest, and I think we are, because this will be, I believe, episode 7, so we will be approaching the end of season 6. So yeah, we'll see if there's a big surprise, but we'll keep you guys posted. Best way for you to do that is to obviously be subscribed. But yeah, we hope you have a wonderful day. It's been great having you guys here with us, and we will see you in the next episode. So take care, all the best from us, and bye for now.
See you.